Hey guys, this is a guide designed for new players. If you find the guide helpful, please consider subscribing, as it will help out my channel a lot. Thank you. The first thing that I want to talk about is the I Survived map. This can be extremely helpful and will make your experience as a new player a lot less stressful. The map will show you everything, but most importantly, the location of towns and water pumps. It's also very useful for locating your friends. The map can be downloaded as an app on your phone, or you can also access it in your browser. For your first few spawns on DayZ, it will be more than likely that you'll have no clue where you are. Along with general navigation, understanding the spawns is something that will just come with experience. The DayZ maps are very large, so it will just take time to learn your way around them. When starting, keep an eye out for road signs outside of towns, as these will be your best chance of finding out where you are, as you can find these on the I Survived map and then go from there. The status indicators can be found on the bottom right of your screen. You have thirst, hunger, temperature, blood and health. As soon as you spawn, your thirst and hunger will already be very low, so finding food and drink is your first priority. You can sometimes spawn with a small amount, however this won't get you far. Because of this, you should look for the small fishing boats which are scattered up and down the coast. These have high chances of spawning food, drink, clothing, backpacks and fishing rods. It's worth checking a few of these, as it should give you the food you need to make it further inland without starving. Your next step should be to move into a coastal town. This is where you will find your first lootable buildings. You aren't actually very likely to find much here, as fresh spawns are moving through constantly and they are looting all the buildings. The loot that you can find, however, is also very low tier and basic. The further inland you move, the better the loot that you can potentially find. One key item that you should be looking for whilst you're here is a knife or a can opener, so that you have something to open your food with. These can spawn anywhere, but you can also craft an improvised knife with 2 small stones. These can spawn along hiking trails and railroads. There are many other items in the game which you can use to open your food, but quite a lot of food will be spilt, so you should only do so if you are desperate. To open your can of food, you should simply combine the food with your tool or knife, and hold the respective key or button as displayed on your screen. There are also many other interactions in the game which this same logic applies to, such as crafting, repairing items, and so on. You'll want to make sure that you stop at a water pump very soon after having spawned. You can find one in nearly every town, however if you struggle to find it, make sure to refer back to the I Survived map. You must drink at the pump to ensure that the water you are drinking is clean. You can also find bottles and canteens around the map. However, the water that spawns in these is not clean, and therefore water purification tablets must be used to drink them. This also applies to water that you filled up from a pond or river. You should keep drinking until the full stomach icon appears, as this is the only real way to know your water is full. By doing this, it will save you a lot of time later, as you will not need to keep stopping over and over again to fill up your water. This also applies to eating food, as even when the food or water icon appear full, they are not as full as they can be. If you are drinking from the well but have a bottle or canteen, be sure to empty it and fill this up and drink from this instead. This will be much safer, as you are allowed to move around whilst drinking from a bottle. It will also fill up your water much faster. Your character's temperature can rise and decrease for many different reasons, including your clothing and the weather. If your character is wet, your temperature will drop rapidly. This can cause you to lose health over time if it is low enough. You can wring out wet clothes by removing them and placing them in your hands. This can dry out your clothes to help your temperature dramatically. This will also relieve your stamina, which suffers a reduction when your character is wet. Another way of staying warm is by using a heat pack. These can be found in medical centres or hunting cabins. You can also cook raw meat and keep it in you while it is still warm to heat you up as well. The heat pack or cooked meat must be kept in your shirt or trousers, else it won't keep you warm. If you find that your character is still not warming up, a fire may be essential to survive. To craft a fireplace, you must combine one piece of kindling, such as bark, paper, rag or a bandage, with one piece of fuel, which will be wooden sticks or firewood. In the current game, you can either place this fireplace in a stove, or anywhere on the ground that is available. I would recommend placing it in the stove as the house gives you cover and the fire will be concealed better. It also allows you to cook straight onto the stove. To ignite the fire, you must use a hand drill kit, matches or a road flare. To craft the hand drill kit, you must combine one piece of bark from a tree by using a knife with one short stick. Also, when your temperature is low, you have a higher chance of becoming sick, which will result in your character coughing and sneezing continuously. Cults can eventually leave on their own, but can take a while if you are travelling with a group, as you will spread it back and forth just by being in close proximity with each other. The quickest way to relieve the cold is by using tetracycline pills. These are also used to treat cholera, which you can get from drinking dirty water. If you can't find tetracycline, you can also use multivitamin pills, however these will not be as effective. Your character's blood level decreases from bleeding, which is from being attacked from players or zombies. Sliding down ladders with ruined or no gloves, or moving with ruined or no shoes will also cause bleeding. When bleeding, you must use rags, bandages or a sewing kit to stop the bleed. An IV saline bag will increase blood regeneration by 5 times for 3 minutes. To get one of these, you must combine an IV starter kit with a saline bag. The only other way to restore blood is by using a blood bag, as this will restore 500 units of blood. Players must ensure the blood types match, else the transfusion can be lethal. Your health is the most important thing in the game, as when you run out, you will die, and therefore you should keep an eye on this at all times. Many things can decrease your health, including starvation, dehydration, falling, bleeding, being shot or hit, or even low or high temperature. When on low health, you can use codeine pills to allow you to move faster for 5 minutes. You can also use a morphine, which will remove all limping for 1 minute and allow full movement regardless of your health. When inside towns, you may come across some zombies. Depending on how many there are, they can often be worth killing, as they are easy to handle one at a time and they can drop valuable items such as food and ammo. The best way of killing zombies is by using a melee weapon or a knife. You can also use a can of food or even your fists. By hitting the zombie, you will stun lock it, making it unable to hurt you. Sometimes, however, you may want to avoid zombies, as they are more difficult to kill in numbers and can reveal your position to hostile players. You can simply sneak around them by crouching and keeping your distance. If you manage to kill an animal and have their raw meat by cutting them up, you can eat this by using multivitamin pills. This also applies to drinking from rivers, because the multivitamin pills will boost your character's immune system for 5 minutes, which will stop you from becoming sick. The only other meds in the game which I haven't mentioned are charcoal tablets and epinephrine. Epinephrine will remove your stamina consumption for 1 minute, and it can also be used on an unconscious player to get them up. Charcoal tablets are used for treating salmonella, which is caused by consumption of raw meat or eating and drinking with bloody hands. You can get bloody hands by cutting up a player or animal without gloves, but you can easily wash this off at any water source. Hopefully now you should have enough information to survive longer in DayZ. As a new player you should expect to die quite a lot, but this is all part of the learning process, so don't be disheartened. In the end it would definitely be worth the grind, as DayZ holds more possibility than any other game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.